Hello everyone. As you may remember from our last post, we made waffles in an old cast iron waffle pan, and today we're going to continue in that theme by making Aebleskiver. And Aebleskiver are a Danish type of pancake that are made in an Aebleskiver pan, which is what you're looking at here. The Aebleskiver pan has these indentations in it that are going to allow us to make a puffy kind of pancake. If you look on the back of this, you can see the indentations. This is a Griswold Aebleskiver pan, but you can also find original examples in Denmark, obviously, and there's all of the cast iron makers in the United States had a version of this pan that they used to make Aebleskiver. And what you'll see over here are the ingredients that I've already started to assemble. I did a little bit of prep work. I've got my wet ingredients here, which are egg yolks and buttermilk. My dry ingredients, which is flour, baking soda, baking powder, sugar, and salt. And then I separated the eggs so that I have the egg yolks mixed into the buttermilk here, and I have peaked egg whites over here, and we'll see in a few minutes what I'm going to be doing with those. The first two tips in successfully making Aebleskiver is to make sure that you use really, really low heat under your cast iron pan, because the Aebleskiver are going to be quite thick and are going to take time to cook through, and you don't want them to burn on the outside while they cook through on the inside. The second important thing is to take either a pastry brush or a paper towel and to very carefully but thoroughly grease each of the Aebleskiver containers. So now that I've got my Aebleskiver pan over low heat and well greased so that hopefully the Aebleskiver will not stick, I'm going to put together my ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my wet ingredients, the buttermilk and the egg yolks, to my dry ingredients, and just give those a mix. You don't want to mix it too much, or there's a possibility that the batter could get tough as the flour develops gluten. So we just want to mix it enough so that all the ingredients are wet, like that. And to that, we're going to add our melted butter. Like so. And then this is a very important step. To the melted butter and the batter, we're now going to fold in gently the egg whites. What you want to do with the egg whites is have them stay as voluminous as possible, so you get a lot of air in your batter. So you don't want to mix it in hard. You just, as I'm doing here, want to mix it in slowly and gently so that you get a nice airy batter in order to make the Aebleskiver. So here you can see my well-greased Aebleskiver pan and my batter, and if you can see from the batter here, you can see that it's still quite airy and it's not completely mixed in yet, which is just the way we want it. And then what we're going to do is take a spoonful of the batter and put it into the indentation, and you want the indentation to be kind of about 2/3 to 3/4 full, because you're going to get a little bit of a rise as the Aebleskiver cook. So our Aebleskiver have been cooking for a good long while now, and we're going to check them and see how they're doing. Now, traditionally, as I understand it, in Denmark, Aebleskiver are always flipped with a knitting needle. I don't have a knitting needle, and I suspect that I don't have the talent to flip them with a knitting needle, so I'm going to use a little sharp-edged knife here And as you can see, I'm going to slip it underneath and just flip the Aebleskiver over. And there you go. This one's nice and brown. So we're going to go ahead and do the rest of them too. Let's see how this one looks. Another one that looks really nice and brown. So here you can see all the Aebleskiver have been flipped over and they're nice and brown. And now I'm still going to leave them in the pan for another good couple minutes because they obviously are quite thick and need to cook through, and you want to make sure that they're done all the way through. So here you can see my fully cooked and finished Aebleskiver. That is finished with one exception. The Danes always serve their Aebleskiver with powdered sugar. So I've got some powdered sugar here in a very fine mesh sieve, and I'm just tapping it over the top. Starts to look a little bit like beignet from New Orleans, and it may be that this has that these actually are a precursor to beignet. But there you have it, the Aebleskiver with powdered sugar, and I plan on eating these with some butter and raspberry jam. And just a quick look here at the interior of the Aebleskiver. As you can see, it's nice and airy, it's not dense at all, and I can tell you from eating it that it tastes fabulous.